And you know, Japan is about as different as you can get.
Yeah,
You ever go there?
no.
It's really like, it's like you're on another planet.
And then at that age, you started playing the trumpet first.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Why or why did that caught your attention? The trumpet. I mean, it's a weird instrument.
Yeah, well, I love the trumpet players when I was a kid, the great jazz trumpet players. I love Miles Davis and Freddie Hubbard and Lee Morgan and Kenny Dorham and Dizzy Gillespie, and I just wanted to be like that when I grew up. You know, I wanted to be a great jazz trumpet player, and I play the trumpet every day. I love the trumpet, and I love it. It's a beautiful instrument. It's such a great invention. This thing made out of metal, you know, and you press the valves, and you know, it's so incredible, and you hold it up and just vibrate your body against it, you know, no electricity, just your lips vibrating against metal and making the sound. It's beautiful.
And then you started going to high school, and then you meet Anthony.
Yeah.
How was your school life? Did you like the school always? Or not that
No,
much?
no. It became a lot better for me when I first started, like, became in a rock band. It was like I had a kind of a family, you know, of people that I could relate to, and like brothers, you know, and I felt a sense of community and like I belonged, you know. But mostly through my school life, I was very alone, you know. I was very by myself, and I don't think I was a very happy kid, you know. I mean, there are lots of things that I loved, and I had a lot of joy in my life, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of a lonely kid, and I was never popular or anything, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, I mean, I like being who I am, and my inner life has always been very rich, but it wasn't like fun for me. You know what I mean? The music was fun. Like I played trumpet in the school band, everything, I liked that.
At that time, when you started with the bands, at that time, the glam rock in the 80s in here in LA was like a big deal, and there was
It wasn't really glam rock.
like Motley Crue. No, not
Yeah,
about
like
your
hair
music.
metal.
Yeah, like hair metal.
Not like New York Dolls and David
No,
Bowie.
no.
T-Rex.
Like
yeah.
Poison, like
Yeah, not like that.
You know that kind of music.
Hair metal, I call it.
Hair metal.
Yeah.
What did you thought? Because you were in another
Yeah.
channel with people like Jane's Addiction or the Red Hot.
Yeah.
What did you thought, honestly, when the grunge judge came and kicked all the hair metals in the ass?
Well, for me, I never looked at music as, I mean, hair metal, it was not my favorite kind of music. And in retrospect, now I look back at it, some of the bands were good, some weren't good. Guns N' Roses was a really good band, you know? But you look back and, well, basically, Nirvana came, is what happened. Like, this whole grunge and bunch of bands, but Nirvana came. And Nirvana is, you know, one of the great bands of all time. Nirvana, you know, it should always be respected and held up as a symbol of all that is good in rock music, you know. Unfortunately, there was a self-destructive bent, and it was difficult for Kurt to make peace, you know, in his life and his relationship to the world in this hugely successful rock band. And I don't claim to have any knowledge of what he was thinking, but God bless him, you know, he was such a beautiful guy, and he played such beautiful music. I actually had the privilege once of playing trumpet with them in Brazil. Yeah, in Brazil. Yeah, I thought that was a great change, because I was much more akin, because even though we weren't a grunge band, I mean, we always were to ourselves. We never belonged to any movement, but the grunge comes out of the punk rock scene, and we come out of the punk rock scene. One of our first bands that we really emulated and copied was a band called Defunct, D-E-F-U-N-K-T, Defunct from New York, yeah. And they had a song called Defunct, and we really kind of copied that song for our very first song we ever wrote, called Out in L.A., which is on our first record. And that was like a scene that we were very akin to. But then again, just that whole punk rock, do-it-yourself scene was the one that we really related to.
Is that right that when you just started with the Red Hot, Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols invited you to the new project called Public Image Limited?
Yeah, that's true.
How hard was for you to say no to one of your idols?
Well, at the time, it was very hard because the Chili Peppers weren't having a good time. We had been together for a couple of years or so, and we were going through a really difficult time. There was a lot of drugs in the band, and the band was kind of falling apart. And they offered me to be the bass player in Pill, and it was something that was very interesting to me because I love Pill. You know, they were a great band. The bass player before, this guy Ja Wobble, was one of my favorite bass players ever, and still is. He's a great influence on me. But it just, I decided that it would be, if I would go and play with Johnny Rotten or Johnny Lydon, or John Lydon, it would be, for me, I would be a sideman. It would be his project, and I would just be a soldier in his army. You know what I mean? Whereas it was more, I realized that it was more important for me, no matter what, to do my own thing. I had my own statement to make.